What's the one department at any company that can make or break a customer's experience more than any other? It's not sales, marketing, it's not product or development. Rather, it's the underappreciated role of customer success and support teams. These unsung heroes are the key touch point for countless customers, tasked with educating them, addressing their concerns, and ultimately making sure they stick around. Today, we'll be interviewing Jotform's very own Enterprise Customer Success Manager, Kat Wittman, on everything that working in customer success entails. Welcome to Momentum, a podcast by Jotform, where we talk about the technology, productivity tips, insights, and best practices that help us move forward in business and in life. Let's get started.
3, 2, 1, liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Maintaining momentum.
All right, we are live. Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Elliot, your host, and I am joined today by Enterprise Customer Success Manager, Kat Wittman. Kat, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So great to have you.
Thank you.
So I'm personally very excited for this episode. I've been wanting to do a customer success or support themed episode for a while because I think there's a lot to unpack sort of behind the scenes of what goes into that. Do you want to start, though, by talking just a little bit about your background and how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, so I traditionally went into marketing. I have English background as well with writing, and those just kind of went hand in hand. But I started in retail customer service and then went remote and did customer service that way, inbox management and all of that, and I loved it. I love the customer-facing thing, and with marketing, with my last position, we had a great team, but I wasn't able to have that customer interaction on a daily basis, which I craved and I really missed. And so Jotform Enterprise, especially doing the customer success, it gives me a chance to really have that customer-facing element, which I love.
Sure, because you guys really are like the frontline warriors. I mean, you do have to interact with customers on a daily basis, and that's like a draw for you, actually.
Yeah, and I love, like, for customer success, too, we have the Zoom calls, so it's face-to-face, and which is really great to engage and really build that customer relationship, which I love. I'm very happy with that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let's talk through that a little bit. Like you mentioned the Zoom calls, but walk us through sort of a day in the life of being customer success at Jotform. You know, what goes into a typical workday for you? What does that look like? What are your responsibilities?
Oh, that is different. Every day is different, and that's the thing I think I love most about it, because I kind of consider it like solving mysteries. So if I hop on a call with a user, and they have this thing, they're like, I can't figure this out, or what am I doing wrong, or how can I make this better? It's like solving a mystery and finding something that you can do to improve their processes. And so it could be anything. We have users in the health spectrum, and then we have users in field service, and we have all of these different users across a ton of different industries, doing a ton of different things with the forms and the tables and sign and all of this. So for me, I typically, I wake up, I go and I sit in my desk, and I'm usually calls in the morning, Zoom calls, and then follow-ups in the afternoons where I'm getting back to people and saying, hey, you know, this is what I kind of figured out for you. So it's no day is ever the same. It's always something new, and I love that. Always
a unique problem to solve.
Yes.
The little mysteries.
Yeah.
That's it's interesting how you do talk to customers basically for your entire job. Obviously, at some point, you have to really become an expert on the product as well. So did you have to go through a particularly like stringent onboarding or anything like that? Because you have to be the go-to resource for everyone when they're coming with questions.
Yeah, I got into Jotform Standard. I started on jotform.com. September 2020.
Okay. So we call that our BSG account, bronze, silver, gold. Yep.
Yeah, on BSG. And we were in just this period of growth. And so for me, I am one of those people that if I go into software, I can pick it up really quickly. Well, I'd like to think I am. But I went into it, and it's such an easy platform, and that was, prior to Sign, that was prior to Teams. So I just had gone in, and they had said, okay, make a form and do this and show us, what you know for coding and all of that. So I had gone in, and a lot of it was self-taught, but then as we've grown so much and our team expanded, even on the BSG side, we had lots of trainings, and we had team leads that were just fantastic that you could go to with anything. We have a really great way of communicating, even on the BSG side, where you can reach out for help with anything. They have a lot of new hire nurturing. So if you're a new hire, you have like a tenured agent that is going to be your point of contact. I was fortunate enough to be that point of contact later on. Yeah. So that was really great. There's a lot of support and a lot of empowerment because it is such a great product. It is easy to use, but there are also rabbit holes you can get into. Right. And so we have empowering people and leaders that really help with that. So it can get quite rigorous, but it's a fun tool to use on your own as well.
I'm sure. Do you find that most of the solutions you're providing, are most of them simple? Is it just like, oh, you just have to go and do this? Or does it get really complicated at times?
It depends. Like some of them I'm like, oh yeah, no, you just, toggle this on or toggle this off.
Oh, why didn't I see that?
Yeah, and they're like, oh, oops, or it's like a typo or something's case sensitive or something like that. But it's a network problem or something. But sometimes and I might make it more complicated for myself. I like to go in and really dive into the weeds. So there can be times where I do that, and we've got multiple steps to go through. But all in all, it might seem like a lot, I think, but all in all, the steps themselves are very straightforward.
Yeah, and usually pretty intuitive because we are, a drag and drop code form builder at the end of the day. So most of the things are intuitive. It's just a matter of knowing how to set certain things up. And
absolutely.
Such like that.
Yeah.
So let's draw back a little bit, and this is a question that I personally don't know the answer to. Why I'm asking it. But what is the difference between support and customer success? Because those are two distinct departments here at Jotform. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure those are distinct departments at a lot of other companies too. And I always kind of think of them interchangeably. Do you think of them as interchangeably? Like now you're customer success, you used to be support. Is there a crossover? Like what's the difference between the two?
There's definitely crossover. So we have our frontline support, which is our amazing team on the front lines. They're on the forums 24/7, answering tickets and answering threads from across all of our different servers. And then our customer success team can go into that as well. But with customer success, we do have that privilege of hopping on the Zoom calls with them and doing some higher level, communication either with engineering, with leadership, with really just going that extra mile and putting a face, I guess, to the name. So there's a lot of more one-on-one personalized interaction, and you really get to build that customer relationship, get to know a really unique use case, and work closely with a lot of our users. So it's a little bit different than frontline, a little bit more intensive, a little bit more customer facing, but there definitely is some crossover, and we have a brilliant frontline team as well.
Yeah, we definitely do. Yeah. So the main difference is that, in customer success, you're actually hopping on calls with clients, with prospective form builders out there to help them through their problems. And, generally in support is kind of what you think of. You submit an online ticket and you get a response like you do XYZ. So customer success kind of takes that to the next level of interaction.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, perfect. That clears up me because I was curious myself. Well, now I know. So you participate in our webinars. You participate in our Jotform Enterprise Lunch and Learn series, which is a relatively new initiative. Would you say these responsibilities are unique in your role as a customer success manager? Are you like the only customer success manager doing things like this? Like how would you get slotted into these very public customer-facing roles?
Yeah, I volunteered.
There you go.
So right now I'm the only one that does it. We might have some fresh new faces come in here and there, but for me, I think it's just I really enjoy the product and I get passionate about about it, and I think that is maybe a little bit more engaging than just the monotone. I hope at least.
Oh,
so
definitely.
I really enjoy working with the marketing team too. As I said, I was in marketing before, and so it kind of marries the two, which I really, really love. So I'd volunteered, and I love the initiative. I think it's great. So for now, I'm the only one who does it, but we'll see in the future.
It's awesome that you have volunteered, and I can say already, like, your webinars and Lunch and Learn series are great. You know what you're doing. I work with people on the marketing team, obviously, and they call you, a lifesaver and helping with all the demos and everything like that. So we're definitely
so
grateful for you. That bridges the gap a little bit into what are the roles and departments that you most commonly work with at Jotform? Because obviously you need to know the product really well. I'm guessing you have to have some liaison with like product development, but also marketing, as you just mentioned.
Yeah.
What are your typical crossovers, would you say, cross-departmentally?
Oh, engineering is the main one.
That makes sense.
They are fantastic. We collaborate, and product ops and engineering operations for enterprise specifically. We have an amazing contact who is kind of our liaison for that. Marketing, absolutely. I'm lucky that I'm one of the CSMs that gets to do that quite a bit. And of course, frontline support, but we do also go into BSG. We talk a lot to product as well. So just kind of dip our toes into as much as we can. We also talk a lot with security and compliance, especially, with HIPAA, we have SOC 2 compliance now. So just understanding really what that means and what it means for encrypted forms and anything new that's coming up. We do frequently chat with them too and consult them.
Right, because you can get questions on anything. Like obviously Jotform offers a lot of features, but you can get questioned about any one of them at any time, I imagine, that might come through. So you really do need to know. How often, just out of curiosity, would you say you know it off the top of your head versus, actually, let me get back to you on that because you're not sure. Do you still get those moments?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Okay.
I like to call myself a specialized because I focus a lot on approvals and teams and tables and the different functionalities because there's just so much you can do. So sometimes if I haven't spent a lot of time on something else, I'm like, I'm going to have to go offline on that and get back to you. Yeah, right. So I definitely have those moments a lot, especially with, new products, new improvements coming out. There's that a lot, but it's usually pretty easy to find because I'm able to know where I'm going most of the time.
Sure. As you need to in this role.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's better to have someone wait for an answer and give them the right one than to give them the wrong one or just guess at it. So I'm sure that they understand and probably even respect that a little bit more. Yeah. In your words, to kind of pull back even more, why is the role of customer success or support so critical to a company's success? Why is it so important? Like we've all had interactions with support or maybe customer success, but having lived and breathed it for so much of your career, why would you say it's important?
Ooh, well, I might be a little biased. I think it's a pillar of every business out there, whether it's brick and mortar or it's going remotely. I mean, we saw the importance of maintaining that brick and mortar experience in an online way when the pandemic hit. And I think a brilliant customer support and then taking it to the next level, the customer success team can bring back that engagement, can bring it back in that personable element so that your customers are engaged. The customer relationship is a be-all, end-all, in my opinion. And, marketing supports that and our sales, bring them in, and our everything else is to nurture that customer relationship. But it starts at the customer success level. It's like a relationship. If you don't feel heard, if you don't have your voice heard, you don't feel like a partner, then it fails often. So we really bring that nurturing and that let the customer's voice be heard. We're advocates for them. We're advocates not only for the product, but for our customers as well. So I think that we play just an integral part at that journey.
Absolutely. That's a great answer, because I think we've all had experiences with support where, honestly, I think it can make or break your experience with a company. Like, you can have a great product, but if you have a poor experience with support, you will become soured on that. If you look at reviews, they so often cite report or customer success, both positively and negatively, because often it's someone's like, it's what causes someone to leave a review. Like, oh, you can really make up ground with a positive support or customer success story, or you can conversely lose a lot of ground. So it's really responsible for helping the customer stick around. So being able to go the extra mile to make them feel welcome is so important in that journey.
Agreed. It's like if you go into a store and you're not greeted right away, or you're not acknowledged, you just walk right out and you don't spend your money there, or you're like, I'm not going back there. And I think that's extrapolated into an online way, in a way that way.
Absolutely. Making the customer feel heard and hopefully stick around at the end of the day. So for a company the size of Jotform, how big is the support or customer success team?
Ooh, that is a good question. I believe that we're growing. We have several different agents across Canada and the United States. We have within the UK time zones. We just cover kind of all the time zones. Right now, I believe we are just under 10, but growing. And then our frontline support has grown significantly to, I believe, over 25. Okay. I don't know the exact numbers, but that's a ballpark. Yeah. So we're growing, and we just have really the best of the best frontline, and then customer success, if I can be so bold, as well. So it's getting to be a really good team, but it's a fantastic team. We're definitely close-knit, communicative, and our leadership really puts on a good example for us too. So
that's awesome. Yeah, and it's so important. I mean, we're a small-ish, maybe medium small business size at this point, Jotform, but even then having a couple dozen support representatives and customer success representatives already goes to show the investment that companies can and should really put towards this, realizing how important it was. I remember interviewing our CEO, Ideken. He was saying how in the early days he was the support for Jotform. He told me like that was honestly the most important part he considered to be in his role is in those early days was the customer success and helping people. Wow. He's like, this is what keeps people around. So it's just cool. We've grown hundreds of people later, and now we have an entire department with wonderful people like yourself in it, making the customer feel heard. So I want to circle back to something else that we had mentioned. You're an enterprise customer success manager. Why does, I guess this will be more Jotform specific, but at Jotform, why does enterprise get its own dedicated customer success team? And then there's the frontline support team. But why do you have enterprise in front of your name?
So enterprise just offers that extra level that Jotform.com, we have more collaboration. You can have your own dedicated server environment. There's quite a few differences between Jotform.com and enterprise. We're building on an already amazing product, but we're doing it for organizations that are enterprise level or just need something extra, whether it's more users, again, dedicated server environment. There's a lot of white labeling that goes into it. And so with that extra kind of requirements, that extra level, you need that extra level of support as well, because it's kind of a whole new environment and you're a whole new level of customer. And we want to make sure that they're supported, onboarded, and that they're using, they're running their businesses on Jotform. And so that they know that they have us at any time they can fall back. So they have that extra level of support. So for enterprise, it's super important that way because it's just a different tier.
Yeah, that is one of the calling cards of Jotform Enterprise specifically is you get that dedicated customer success team who will jump on a call with you at any point as well and walk you through things. So that makes a lot of sense. Would you say that's normal with most technology or SaaS companies? I don't know if you have any awareness of that, but
I do, yeah. I know that it's pretty rare for a company the size of Jotform, even Jotform Enterprise. From what I've experienced in the past, like even for MarTech, it's something that's rare, and you don't get that again face to face.
Right.
interaction as much. It's usually somebody behind a chat bubble or an email or anything like that. And having that option, I think, is super comforting and is super useful. So I think we are really unique in that we have that, or we have that on demand.
Yeah, it's definitely a differentiator for us because it can feel so much more reassuring to hop on and get that face-to-face instead of have to communicate with a bubble and like, oh, this is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm doing.
Or, some account managers, they are scheduled out or they have a full schedule, whereas with us, you press a button and you're going to be speaking to somebody very shortly. So, or one of our customer success managers on Zoom, and I think it's something that's unique and extremely valuable.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, if as a prospective client, especially for large organizations on an enterprise level, how significantly would you say a customer support or customer success department, how significant does that factor into making a purchasing decision, would you say?
Ooh, I gotta say that it's a big one. It's one thing that we often get asked when I'm in demos with our sales team. A big question that we usually round out the demo with is they say, well, what kind of support do we get? Or, are we going to be empowered on, using this widget or using this? And the answer is a resounding yes. So that I think it can be a make or break. Again, if I can be so bold, I might be a little biased.
Feel free.
But I think it is a massive, massive asset and a reassurance that we do have that kind of level of support.
Yeah, and these are demos to prospective clients who've just signed. So these are people, companies who haven't necessarily signed yet, and they're just wanting to see the functionality. And you're often on those calls.
Yes, yeah,
okay.
I'm often on them. Or if we have a very particular use case that they want to review with somebody, it's a little bit more technical that knows the platform inside out. I'll hop on those calls for sure.
So you spend your days talking to prospective clients and current clients.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just curious. For current clients, are you just sort of on demand? Do they schedule time with you? I'm honestly just curious how the system works.
Yeah. So in their support portals for our current clients, they will have a Zoom button. They'll say request a Zoom call, and they can hop on, and whoever is available, we have, of course, our set hours that we dedicate to that.
Sure.
And they can just hop on, whoever's available. My colleague, Steph, she's amazing. She's the one who usually gets them because I'm typically in demos in the mornings.
Right.
But she's just been a fantastic resource, and I've heard nothing but good things about the Zoom on demand.
Yeah, that's great. That's wonderful. It sounds like both of you certainly stay busy.
Yes.
Needless to say. What do you find most, I guess two-pronged question, what do you find most challenging and most rewarding about your role, if you had to kind of boil it down?
I think, honestly, I want to say they're about the same thing. It's that no day's ever the same, that there's always lots of things to juggle. There's questions, there's features, there's, mysteries to solve. And that can be incredibly challenging. And making sure that, we listen to the use case and we understand the use case fully can be another challenge as well. And then
something can be pretty complex.
Yeah, really complex. And so, we go in and we have, of course, our smart forms, our conditional logic that can do so much, and tables you can do so much. So I think the challenging part is figuring out how can I condense what I'm going to send you into something that is not me just blabbing and being like, hey, well, what about this? Or, opening new doors when we need to close one. But I also think it's completing that and having that where they're like, this is great, or I hadn't thought of that, or, oh, I missed that, or, where I get to help them and I know that it's improving their day or in their business processes or how they run their day-to-day things, or maybe it's saved them some time. Yeah, that is incredibly rewarding.
Yeah. Are you ever still surprised to see how companies and people are finding ways to use Jotform, like use cases like, oh, I never would have thought of that. Do you ever get surprised, or have you kind of seen it all at this point?
Oh, no, I am still absolutely surprised.
I guess that's good.
There's, even today, just being on a call and he's like, yeah, so this is how we're doing it. And I'm like, can you send a screenshot of that to me? Because it's so cool, and it's through our integrations, and we also integrate with Zapier. So there's so much to do with it that
so many options.
And we have our API capabilities is what I've been diving into too, and that is full of, that's just full of Easter eggs. So
I can only imagine.
Yeah, I'm constantly surprised.
I bet.
Yeah.
Do you have, on that note, can you share do you have any interesting stories, insights, anecdotes, any interesting experiences that stand out that you could share that someone would find interesting during your time in customer success?
Yeah, I think it's where I live. It's quite rural, and I'm very remote, and I'm lucky to have a good internet connection. But elsewhere, just hearing. I think my favorite is just the offline forums. We have somebody in the agricultural industry that goes out and he actually takes a photo of each of his cows, and he uploads it to the forum. And then he'll put their names, their condition, if they need to have, their feet done or anything like that. And then it's all in the offline, and then it syncs when he gets back to his house, and he's got everything he needs to do. He's got
pictures of cows.
Inventory of cows.
Wow.
Okay. So I think that's one of my favorite things because it just shows how there's such niche examples.
You can use Jotform for this.
Yeah,
yes.
Jotform for, your inventory of cows. And every time I say that, I just laugh because it just seems like such a funny thing. But to him, that's integral. He needs that data to sync. Yeah, he could lose one of his girls, right? Yeah. So that is one of my favorite stories, I think. And
that's awesome.
I have lots of other ones, but they're just very long. But yeah.
Fair. Well, I'm very grateful that Jotform could potentially help save cows.
Right.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Brings warmth to my heart. If you had to sort of summarize and bring it all home, what would you say is kind of the pillar or the key essential ingredient to customer success?
Ooh, that is a really hard question. I think it's just about having your voice being heard in a, in an engaging way, and making sure that you have that advocate for you, which is, I'm very proud to say, and I believe that our customer success team and our frontline support and our BSG support does that brilliantly. I think, at the end of the day, we're those advocates who communicate, who juggle everything, who, make all the different kind of lines. And I think that's really contributed to where we are today.
Yeah. No doubt. Is there anything that we missed or we didn't cover today that you want to hit on? This has been some phenomenal content. I feel like I have learned just a great deal about this, but anything that we haven't hit on today that you'd like to leave on?
Oh, no, not really. I mean, I could talk for hours about Jotform, even just...
You do, every day.
Yeah, right? Even just approvals, where I could just be like, did you know that it does this? No.
By the way.
But I think it's, we offer something that's so unique. You can try it on free on BSG, and then you can come over to Enterprise. So
for the customer support alone, it's worth it.
Yeah, well, hopefully. But yeah, I think we've covered everything. I don't really have anything else.
Okay. Yeah. Well, this has been just absolutely remarkable. Thank you for taking time from talking to customers to talk to me for a little bit. This was really insightful. Peels back the curtain a little bit on what goes on in customer success departments, and it's pretty incredible.
Thank you.
So it was just really awesome to have you on the show, and thank you for your time today, Kat.
Thank you for having me on. I'm honored.
Of course.